entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as legal advice. Welcome back, everybody. It's Tuesday. I hope you had a great weekend. It went so fast with me. I have new equipment now and stepping up my presentation game significantly here at Creditor Academy to bring you guys the biggest and the best that I possibly can. Today we have an exciting topic, which is all about the new era of banking, the new era of private banking, that is. Cars, houses, and credit cards without utilizing a bank. Muy importante in order to know how to operate in the private. And you know what? It's really not that complicated. We're going to get into the details about how to go about it today. But first, I wanted to go ahead and give a start that a lot of things, especially from last week's conversation about our new huge partnership that we have with Cypher Learning, the largest LMS provider in the United States. I'm very fortunate to have one of their representatives fly out all the way from Detroit to Seattle to come meet me in the downtown area. You get to see my neck of the woods once again. But it's very important for this interview. I'm really excited about it because learning has changed quite a bit. Remember when you was in school and you were like, the teacher would be like, okay, you got a book, and then I'm going to give you a piece of paper. You're going to write on that piece of paper, which is going to be called homework, where you bring your home, if school wasn't enough, you get to bring it home. And then I'm going to give you another piece of paper to test you on the piece of paper I sent you home with. And I'm going to make sure that you're paying attention and instruct you by writing on the blackboard. During my time, during my father's time, it was called a blackboard. During my time, it was a whiteboard with the little expo pens. And that was learning. That was learning. Pieces of paper, the book, and an instructor. How significantly has that changed? I mean, not only that, look at how we get our news nowadays. How's the news stations have changed, right? Now everybody's going into alternative media. Such as the same way, alternative learning. People are now utilizing not only a platform like LMS systems to take over, which really structure your learning. There's videos, there's quizzes, there's badges, there's interactive games in order to get your attention now. Imagine learning everything about Credit Academy or about business trust and all that, and getting houses privately and all that by playing a game like Candy Crush, right? I'm like, what? That's the way I want to learn. Or make a Call of Duty. If I figure out the Call of Duty version, let me tell you what. I think it'd just be me with this microphone, just shit talking people. Just like, yeah, you didn't know that? You're gonna get shot for that one. Oh, but your learning is so important. And you know what? Most of you who are watching, guess what? You graduated. Or are you like me? You graduated high school or college and you were like, I'm never doing that again. God, hit my head against the wall. I'd show up and see a teacher and listen to them for 4, 5, 6 hours a day and then have to follow their rules on how I'm supposed to be living my life on my own time. And I have to pay for it. Yeah, it's a lot. Oh, and by the way, they get to judge you, right? Oh, you didn't do good enough. You didn't do good enough. So we're going to judge you on that. And now you all graduated. And now as we become older, we become wiser and we start to understand the value of our education. And now we're a little bit more hesitant, I would say, especially for myself, is, hey, before I start investing my time, energy, effort into a school or online learning platform at all and spend my hard-earned money and go through all that same aggravation that I just graduated from in nursing school again, I really want to be confident that my learning is going to be worth it. Am I going to be sitting with pieces of paper and a book again, being judged by an instructor who's writing on a whiteboard, And am I going to enjoy the instructor? I never had a choice to choose my instructors. But now in the alternative learning, just like in the alternative news, there is a plethora of choices. There's so many choices. You get to not only choose your instructor, you get to review people's online learning platform. You get to get to know what their program is about by watching their videos for free. Wouldn't that be awesome if you could just watch an instructor at a university for free for like a couple weeks or a month and be like, I don't know if I want to take your class. I don't think I want to do that. Have a preview. So online learning is the way it's in the new age that we are in now. So I do want to get to the topic at hand. I didn't want to go too far off track, but it's important for me to bring up because tomorrow Cipher Learning is going to be a big interview with Keck, K-E-K, Keck. That'll be a great one. So we'll be talking about some of the things I went over. How did we progress from a whiteboard in the class and these pieces of paper to now sitting down with the largest online learning LMS platform. LMS stands for Learning Management System Platform in the country, pulling in $60 million last year. $60 million. Wow. So people are investing in their education, not only the universities, but in the private sector. And I'm investing in it as well to make sure that when you come to the academy, it is the best of the best that you can get. So topic of the day that I would like to start speaking about is once again, operating in the private and Patrick Devine and what he has taught us about the benefits of being in the private. If you're like me and you've been listening to hours and hours of Patrick Devine over the last years since his YouTube videos are so readily available from all that he's teaching, you might be asking yourself, well, at what video, at what minute, at what hour, and at what documents do I need to submit to be free to get the 3 things that I want? For the majority of individuals, I've been interviewing people and doing private consultations for just about a year now. Creditor Academy will hit a year in just a little over a month from now. I've learned that most individuals look for 4 things. First, credit or money, cars, houses, and security for their family. That's pretty much the main 4. Family security is mostly number 1. They want to be able to put food on the table for their families and want to be able to provide. And the issue is if you step outside of working at the McDonald's job at 9 to 5, serving up Big Macs, and try to take a little entrepreneurship by working part-time and investing the other part-time into your new business, it could totally mess up your financial situation with your family. So you overextend loans. And you know what? You can't do 50-50. I don't even do that at Creditor Academy. What makes me different from the other gurus is I really had to take a position here. Either I am going to be an instructor, which is a full-time job. You ever see your instructors at school, how much they work, or how many times you look on the news stations and instructors complain about the limited resources the federal government gives them to teach their class? I remember I spoke with a kindergarten teacher that's over here in Tacoma, Washington. Same exact situation. I was just like, wow, your class, your kindergarten class is so nice. You have very nice chairs. You got all these coloring books. You have these reading materials. You have these posters of cats on the wall. I mean, she was also an interior decorator to some degree. And I was like, this is great. And I was just like, all of this to better kids' learning. And she's just said, yes, but it's on my own dime, Paul Michael. Let me tell you. The federal government does not give me funding for any of this. I have to go into my teacher's salary to pay for all of this stuff for a better learning environment for the students. And I just love kids so much. But if I ever get a phone call from administration and they say, hey, You're changing rooms. You're going across the hall. Now to pick all of this stuff up that I paid for, they don't hire movers to help me. To pick it all up, pack it up, bring it across the hall, and reset it all back up. And I got to use that on my own time to do that, you know? So where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. So teachers and what their availability is for resources is very scarce. But oh, yeah, I know where I was going with that. I was going with that to say that, it's a lot of work to be an instructor. It's a lot of work to be a teacher. So if you are a guru, really, if you're a guru inside of this industry and you want to give your heart and soul out to the community, it is a full-time job to listen to Patrick Devine for 15 hours a day and look at all of his documents and read all these Black Laws dictionaries and all of that and be able to digest it and then hopefully communicate it well enough to your audience when you speak. Now you got the second problem. What's the second full-time job? Is you got to create an ability to let people learn about this information as best as possible. And the best way to do that is you need structured learning. You need people to help you in giving back to the community. I remember when I ran my non-for-profit, the nonprofit, which we did healthcare licensing for all 50 states. I remember when we were doing the non-for-profit, we still asked for money in order to keep the lights on and everything. But in the back, we had all these for-profit companies that would come in and assist the people who want their licensing because we wanted them to succeed. But I needed, if they wanted somebody, what everybody wanted? Everybody wanted the same thing. Hey, you're a non-for-profit. Who's going to pick up the phone to help answer my questions about your non-for-profit? And that person to pick up the phone, they don't work for free. You ever go to a guru network and you say, where's their hotline number? Oh, I sent them an email 4 weeks ago. How come I didn't get a reply? Right? Oh, I went to their website. Oh, I got a dead link. Why doesn't this work? So even as an instructor, someone has to be a CEO. They have to run the business, right? So I had to pick one of two directions. Am I going to be an instructor or am I going to be the CEO of the company? Both are full-time jobs. Both are full-time jobs. I have done the free route and I did my instructing and all of that. And I did my absolute best to teach Patrick Devine in his final process. And we're going to get into some of the things that he discussed today. But eventually I had to say, hey, where is this leading to? How do I make it so then people have the best learning possible? And Cypher Learning was one of those partnerships on why I wanted to bring to the table for better things. Guess what, though? They don't work for free. Isn't that shocking? So they were like, are you a nonprofit? And I'm like, yeah, I am. I'm a private education association. That's a nonprofit, which is true. And I'm like, great. Well, that gets you a discount. But great organization. So now we have a team of over 20 staff full-time with a hotline number to help answer your questions, to give you quality education, because it takes more than just an instructor. You notice you go to a school, there isn't just the kindergarten teacher, right? There's a janitor, there's the dean, there's the front office to take enrollments. There's people to help with financial aid. There's people that help do all the paperwork, the teacher's aides, and all of that. So this is why I hired instructional designers. The instructional designers are really going to be your instructors, and we're going to automate this as much as possible so I can focus on being the dean to manage all of this. To get into this space, I want to say, from personal experience, I have never been in an industry that is so niche. This is a very niche industry. The private, sovereign and operations and Patrick Devine, that It's so small. It is so small. And because it's so small, I noticed, I was just like, if someone walks into this space who's a businessman and he's organized and he has a full-time staff and business connections with major learning platforms, it's going to take over. It's going to take over, especially a hotline number. So that's what I don't intend to do. I intend to give better structure, but I want to work with all the other gurus. I want to bring them under my umbrella. It's like a welcome. There's no competition. This is a family. And you know what? Because it was such a big family, it got me into it. And so I want to give back to the family. But we need structure. We absolutely need structure. Okay. Going into today's topic. Credit, cars, and houses without banks. A huge subject there. There's a lot to kind of break down with that, but I'm going to explain it very simply. The majority of all business transactions in commerce deal with contract law and agreements. It is very rare that you can get a house without filling out some form of an agreement form or application, right? So there's just a public and a private side to it. There's a public and a private side to it. The public side is that you get loans, you do a business deal with the statutory State Department in order for you to get into business or to be able to get real estate or anything like that. And then there's the private side where basically it's a little bit of advertising. Where you put yourself out there and you say, hey, I'm willing to work a deal with people. I want to work deals with people. I want to negotiate with individuals so I don't have to go through institutions. So let's kind of break this up as it deals with credit, without banks or loans or anything like that. See, when you take your private entity like a business trust, we had a masterclass today where we were talking about business trust very in detail. It was a great conversation. And one of the things about business trust is that you can build credit without a bank account. Isn't that great? So the question is how do you build credit without a bank account? Well, first of all, you need to approve only one person, or satisfy one person, I should say. And that is a person called the underwriters. If you satisfy an underwriter, you can walk out with whatever you want because it's just checking boxes. They say, do you have a website? Yes, I do. Do you have a Dun & Bradstreet number? Yeah. Do you have a hotline number? Do you have a business address? Do you have this, and that? This is the underwriting requirements that don't take any financial bank statements into an account in order to extend you a line of credit. You just got to check the boxes. It used to be different before 2008, where anybody can walk into a bank and get whatever they want and just declare no doc that, hey, I make $1 million a year, so I want an $800,000 house, So now there's a little bit more stringent underwriting, but there's still a lot of no doc. There's just really cross-referencing and double-checking. So when you start your private entity like a business trust and you go to department stores, Best Buy, Macy's. Is Macy's still around? I don't know. Nordstrom. Is Nordstrom still around? Blockbuster's not around.
Nordstrom's definitely still around.
Nordstrom's is still around. Yeah. Okay. Good. But they give, I know Lowe's and Home Depot are, and there's a lot of other, Uline is another big company, but they all give business credit cards and they report your trade lines. Okay. So when they report your trade lines, that is reporting the line of credit that they extended to you. Just that credit is specifically utilized for their business only. Sometimes they give you cards that you can go outside of that. Ryan is just the brilliant instructor and mind behind that to give more detail. But this allows you now, as you can see, oh, so I can get lines of credit money without having a bank account. And I just created this entity and all I needed to do was satisfy the underwriter. Guys, that's free money. That's free money. That's just moving around paper and making the presentation of your business public to a certain degree so then the underwriter can approve you. They want to approve you. Okay, so now you got credit. So now you're through the department store. And once you get through the department store, you can go at higher and higher levels of credit lines to where, as Ryan instructs, without a bank account in Ryan's course, $200,000 in a line of credit in 3 months. In 3 months, we have some people that are inside class right now that are very close. There's 5 of which that are very close to graduating. And we would say maybe in the next month to month and a half. So 5 individuals, that's $1 million in trade line credits. And they did it. They did it all step by step without having or needing to do a bank account. Some of them chose to get a bank account because some banks like Chase gives you a ton of cards. They give you a lot of cards. And when you get those cards, man, let me tell you, they give you high credit limits if you already have a really nice profile. Okay, so now you're working at McDonald's. You're serving up Big Macs all day. All you had to do was just go home, know how to do your private entities, your private trusts. You set that up. You did your little website thing. It took you a maximum of 2 days, and now you already got lines of credit from these department stores, okay? You're balling out. You're going into work the next day, and you're like, geez, I already got $5,000. I didn't have to work an extra shift or a part-time job to go ahead and do this. And now I got now that I got these lines of credit, I can get a business loan. I can utilize it for whatever I want for staff, or I can use it to pay myself so I can go outside of McDonald's. Okay. Now let's go on the other end. You're already an entrepreneur. Okay, great. I got credit. But Paul Michael, let me tell you, my 1992 Honda Civic is a little rough right now, especially when I got 3 kids and we need to upgrade over to an SUV. I just upgrade. I got 1 kid and 7 months ago now, and we had to do the same. I was like, we need to upgrade. I need some leg room. The bounty hunter mobile is not going to be good enough. I remember when my wife saw that, she's like, you got a what? What is that thing on the front end? I was like, it's a bounty hunter mobile. I had to have it on the front end. He's like, are you going to take it off? I'm like, no, that'd be ridiculous. It's for safety. Oh man. So yeah. And she's like, well, we have too many cars. We got 4 of them now. I was just like, yeah, we'll have to sell the Charger, So I was just like, dang. Oh, that was fun. But anyways, so now you need an upgraded vehicle. Paul Michael, how do I then acquire a vehicle in the private based off of Patrick Devine's teachings and what you're teaching now here today, which is very, very similar. As Patrick Devine famously said that there ain't no trust out here. You can't trust nobody but yourself. I totally agree with the same. Totally agree with the same. Too many individuals, I don't know what channels you guys are following. And I've had a lot of consultations about it. Yeah, Paul Michael, I got this trust, and my cousin or my aunt or my sister twice removed, they're the fiduciary or the trustee of my trust. I was like, do they even know that they're the trustee or the fiduciary of the trust? I just asked them if I could put their name down, and they said, yeah, we got it notarized. And I was like, all right, it doesn't seem all right. I guess you could do that. But listen, you just make yourself, you contract. The greatest person to contract in your life with is with yourself. I have 17 business trusts. All my 17 business trusts are with me, myself, and I. They are just contracted with one another. Now, watch this. Paul Michael, can you show example of how to get an automobile in the private? Yeah, let me show you. So go on your computer and type in Facebook Marketplace. Facebook Marketplace. Okay. When you go on I got to share my screen. Hold on. So you're on Facebook Marketplace and you're scrolling around like me, and then you see yourself a 2013 Ferrari FF Coupe two-door just for a little bit, just for 160,000, just a little bit, just a little bit. And you want to obtain, and you know your credit is garbage. You know the savings that you have in your account is like, a little over $500. And you are just like, oh my gosh, I want to not only obtain this, but sometimes you do things for business in order to increase the business that you receive. I know a guy where he was an insurance broker, bought this nice brand new Mercedes, which I knew he couldn't afford because he was just complaining to me about splitting the dinner bill at a restaurant. And he was like, hey, can you get the appetizers on your side? And then I see him with the new Mercedes. I was like, why'd you get yourself a new Mercedes? Why did you go that route? And he was just like, because it's better for business. And he's just like, man, my Toyota Corolla of 2003 was great, Paul Michael. But once I roll up in business, oh, that's so nice. Once I roll up in business deals in a Toyota Corolla, there's a certain, connotation, a certain expectation. I'm personally not like that. I'm not here to judge a person by what they drive, but other people are. Also, it can work against you, right? Some people judge you because you show up in a Ferrari FF Coupe two-door and they say, oh, this guy's going to overcharge me, right? But then you kind of forget about that when the guy with the Ferrari says, hey, do you want to step in my car and go for a ride? Then you're like, oh, okay, now we're best friends, right? Oh, that engine's huge. So this is how you go about it. It is the same answer that I told you with your business trust on how you develop credit is the same way that you get the vehicle. It's just the art of the deal. Art of the deal. The art of the deal is all about getting the individual or looking at the individual's given situation. And they're selling a little, man, if I would have had this in college for 50,000, man, you already, they didn't have, tiny houses wasn't popular back then. But if you find a individual like this person, let's say, let's use the Ferrari again as an example. If you find out this person is trying to list this, they listed it 2 days ago, got 18,000. Man, I need to find a better deal. What's wrong with this Tesla? A week ago, 2 weeks ago. Let's find a good example. 18 hours ago. Jeez. You want to look for vehicles that have been on the market for a long time. It might be 3 weeks. 3 weeks is kind of not that early. But what I look for is if a vehicle has been up and available for 2 to 3 months, time frame. Once you see a vehicle that's been up for 2 to 3 months, the individual might be desperate to sell the vehicle. And I'm here to tell you, if you're having difficulty selling a Jaguar for $19,000 and you're trying super hard to get rid of the vehicle, you know what the surefire way to sell a vehicle on Facebook Marketplace guaranteed is do it on payments. Do it on payments. I'm not talking about a loan from a bank, but a contractual arrangement with an individual that says, hey, I want your vehicle on payments. We will transfer the vehicle into this trust. And then when we transfer it into the trust, then I will then buy the trust off of you based upon this payment schedule. Okay. It's a very simple way of doing business. And because you're going over to the Department of Licensing or the county recorder's office to make it official, now the person can put a lien on you and give you the confidence that you're going to pay them back because they're now holding the asset. They're holding the asset under the lien so they could get this vehicle back and plus keep the payments that you've been making. So what people look for, like when I was speaking with one individual who was selling a car, if I took $19,000, I say, okay, tell you what, I'll give you $5,000 down and I'll pay you $1,000 a month for 14 months, or with a little bit of interest, let's even say, on top of that. Actually, that's how I would do it. I would say, you're selling your car for $19,000. I'll give you $5,000 down, but I'll actually pay you $23,000. So that's $4,000 extra in this person's pocket, $4,000 above what they're asking. But I want to put it on a set of payments where I'm paying you $1,200 a month for 14 months or whatever that math comes out to. Most people will take that deal because you're giving them more money than what they're asking for. They're giving a lump sum of money right up front, which is what they want. And they're getting guaranteed payments every single month. And you're locked into that contract. This is a surefire way to get a vehicle. Now, let's go to the next example, which is a house. How do you obtain a house in the private? It's the same way. And I'll show you. You go on Zillow. I'm going to show you how I do it. The Art of the Deal. Anybody ever read that book, The Art of the Deal? You're like, no, I haven't, Paul Michael. Who is that guy?
I haven't, but I can only imagine it's Donald Trump. So
it is.
Must be good.
Yeah, it's been around for quite some time. The Art of the Deal. Okay, so let's hit save search, updates. Perfect. All right, so let me show you this. Let me share my screen. So you want to buy a house in the private. Here's a perfect example. This person, I already spoke to this person. So this is a house, $1.329 million. Jeez, super expensive. 1,926 square feet, 3 bathrooms, 4 bedrooms, sitting on just a little over a quarter acre at 691 square feet with no HOA and a Zestimate, which, doesn't really matter. So I want you, one of the things, as I just showed you with the vehicles, is this. This is not true. 12 days on Zillow. This has been on Zillow for 7 months. And what they do is they take down the advertisement after it's not doing well, and then they repost it on Zillow again to reset the amount of days that it's been on Zillow to hopefully get more people to view it, So I already talked to this individual. The issue with this is not friendly for families. You know why it's not friendly for families? Because it's $8,077 a month. Okay. Now let's take this on an investment side. $8,077 a month. How much would you have to charge a renter to live inside of a house like this? You would see this as an investor and be like, $8,077 a month on a 7% interest rate on top of it. It's not good for investors, and it's not good for families. It's not good for families either. So I called them and I just said, hey, I think we can make something work here. If you're willing to do a payment plan, I can give you your 1.329 or even go up to 1.4, but it'd be on a set of payments over 6 or 7 years. And then I'll be able to lower this rent pretty much to, like, what was it? Like, I was trying to get them to go as low as like 6,000. I was just like, hey, in this area, I need to get it as low as 6,000. And if I split up the house itself into living quarters or sell it to people who want to be roommates, I can maybe make that feasible. But we really need to come down. So yeah, so he said, okay, well, it's something I can bring up to the homeowner. The homeowner ultimately denied it. They didn't want to do payments, but it'd be the same principle. If this deal went through, I would be able to make a profit off of the property on the monthly because it's split out into such broken down payments, which I call that financial inventive financial strategies. So then we can really bring it down. Then on the 6th year, I would just sell it for the full price. And that's how I would satisfy him. But yeah, it would basically be, and the reason why I could do that is because I wouldn't pay the 7% interest rate. So this 8,000 becomes a lot lower because you're not including the interest rate, because their interest rate was like 2.5%. So I get the low interest rate, I get a lower monthly cost, so then I can rent it out to people and make, in an upwards of $1,000 to $1,500 profit. And it's great for an investment at that point. And then at the end of the 6 years, I could sell the property. So that is how really you have to operate. In order to really make something as I just presented today work, for you to get a house, for you to get a car, for you to get credit, the credit thing is easy because you're just applying. You're just saying, hey, I want credit cards. It's just filling out applications. We have actually one individual in here that is doing really good on that. Michael B., great job. Congratulations on your progress with that, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. You're a fast mover. The other thing is the cars and the houses. It's just conversations. It's how you're able to present the deal to the individual. And what I do to make my life a little bit easier, not only for the promotion of Creditor Academy, but also for the promotion of my business, to make it make deals with people, is join a group where you can make friendships. I'll show you. Here you go. I'm a part of the Kirkland Chamber of Commerce. The Kirkland Chamber of Commerce, man, is a great community. There's 420 chamber members, over 2,000 engagement professionals. There's 80 industries representative, over 1,200 annual event attendees. Their social media is really good overreach. But this is what I love, over 75 events yearly. And when you scroll down to upcoming events, bada boom, bada bing. I see every event on a weekly basis that I can attend to go meet with other members. These members have properties. They have cars. They have businesses that by having a good conversation of who is who and who knows who, you can get connected with somebody with a Ferrari. That is just like, hey, I trust this guy. He's got creative financing. He wants to do a business deal. He wants to pay you more money. Sometimes people just do business deals with you just because they know you, right? And it's trustworthy. There are so many real estate agents in the Chamber of Commerce. It's ridiculous. Like every time I turn my head, hey, did you know I'm a real estate agent? I'm a new real estate agent in town. Why? Because Kirkland is one of the fastest growing cities here on the other side of the lake of Seattle, next to Bellevue. Bellevue is pretty built out. It's very built out. So Kirkland is the next in line. Kirkland Costco. It's that Kirkland. The headquarters, the main Costco of Kirkland is here where it all got started. So what you do is you go to these events, you rub shoulders with the real estate agents who have a list of all of these houses that they're trying to sell. Because what do real estate agents want? What do they want? Commission. They want commission. And
He'll be right back. I think he's got another application set up that he can get right back on from what I've seen in the past here, compared to having to reboot it to get back in.
there was a lot of people that are on this call right now. That's amazing. Thank you for your patience on that. But yeah, there's a lot of real estate agents that have stubborn people that are trying to sell. They're trying to say, hey, I'm putting up your house and showing people and touring people on my own time, on my own dime for the last 10 months, and no one is buying because it's not a good investment. And because it's not a good investment, now the real estate agent is losing money with their time, spending it away from family, trying to sell something that no one's buy. You're over at a Chamber of Commerce meeting with creative financing, is what I would call it. Your creative financing. You just say, hey, you find someone that's willing to work out a deal like this, where I can get into a house under my business trust and do it on a set of payments. They'll be calling you. Because they want to get these houses done. And your payment options also satisfy their commission. It's included in there. So the same thing is with cars. These people want to buy or sell a new car, or they want to sell a new car and upgrade all the time because you're in a pretty lavish area. Kirkland is one of the, it's a very rich city. It's very, very high-end city. So when individuals, every 3 years are trying to get rid of their vehicles, because they want the latest thing, now you're in the right environment to get these types of connections. And so then you can do the same creative financing to get their vehicle. And there we go. So these are some of the ways that you can operate in the private, but you got to be good at negotiating. You have to be good at you know what? You don't even have to be good at negotiating. You just got to know what you want, and you got to explain to somebody, does this make sense? Hey, and this is what I was telling the guy. I was just like, you're selling $8,000 a month to a family? Who is that family? If I'm paying $8,000 a month, I better have a brand new house. Not one built from 1980 that you just got granite countertops. You know what I mean? Same thing with a vehicle. Can you imagine someone tries to sell a 1992 Honda Civic for $20,000? You're like, you're ridiculous. Maybe if you brought down the price or you did some creative financing because I really like that vehicle, because sometimes you just like something, right? That house, it was for me if I could get it for the price that I want. But some people will look at that house in the 1980s that they renovated and said, that's a beautiful house. Beauty is in the eye of the perceiver, right? So the same thing. Some people just, you just need to explain it to them in a way that's logical. So with that being said, we'll go to questions about what we're talking about today, because all of everything that I just brought up today is what we teach in the academy. It's what we teach in the academy. We teach you the art of the deal when it comes to cars and houses. And really what I'm going to be doing is giving examples and use cases. So if you bring up inside of our Operate Privately course, which is going to be open for more days so I can cover this subject more in detail, and you say, Paul Michael, I want to obtain this house or this car. How do I negotiate a deal, and what should that deal look like? Not only will I help you think about it logically on the best deal for not only you, the buyer, but also them, the seller, but I'll also supply you with the documentation that you need, like your purchase and sale agreement, in order for you to acquire the property, as well as show you how a quick claim deed or a warranty deed works. Or, hey, this is how you, if you have to go to the Department of Licensing, how you fund a trust and put the asset into a trust. So these are all important things to know when operating in the private. All right, Daniel, good to see you, buddy. Let's go to you.
Hey, Paul.
Mhm.
I missed a lot of your presentment, but
No worries.
from what I caught, I love it as always. Personally, myself, I'm in sales currently, and I mean, I've been in construction most of my life, but I've been in sales off and on. So I totally get what you're saying when it comes to, making these deals, and it all depends on how you present what you're looking for and how to close the deal. So once we get our status correction and SPC done, that's really all we need to do in order to be able to go after these real estate assets and or cars. And could we position ourselves as a broker or as a medium in between the seller and, say, another party?
You can. I mean, primarily, you just need to know how these trusts operate and work, and how to fund them, and how to push the paperwork to your benefit. And that's really the main part about it. Is, as your salesperson, Daniel, you're the perfect person for this. You're exactly right in what you're saying. You're like, wait, this is just sales. I just gotta present what I want well enough, and some people will bite. One of the largest industries is wholesale real estate. Wholesale real estate is what Donald Trump does all the time. Negotiate deals, put them inside a trust so then he can acquire the property without constantly going for loans from banks. If you typed in wholesale real estate onto YouTube or Google, you'll see 100,000 people that are trying to teach or educate on the subject. But to do it in the private is what makes it special here, to really do it that way, because then we can start applying lines of credit and other things to it. But no, I would say operate privately is what you got to learn. Become private is important for you to protect your sovereignty and for you to be back into the Republic of the United States. But if you want to now do business moves, now we need to learn how to operate privately. Because are you going to use the property or the house for your family, or are you going to use it for a business?
Well, personally, I don't have a house of my own. I've never actually owned a house of my own, simply due to credit. So that's going to be my first step, obviously, is establishing that so that I can have a firm foundation for myself and my kids to operate on. But once I get that done, my next step will be, like I said, to act as a mediary, or another means for other people to achieve the same things for themselves in their life. And what I'm looking to do is, position myself in a way to where I can act as such, and also, obviously benefit from it to a certain extent on my own, but more so, to help my neighbor to position themselves so that they're, able to maneuver in the world that we live in. So, I mean, I'm a couple steps away from getting my status correction and my SPC.
You're right at the tail end, man. No worries about it.
I know, I'm right there. There's really only the one question that I've actually brought up to you before, which I won't mention now. I'm doing research on my own on that right now. If there is any way I could have a a consultation with you. I think you've kind of taken that off the board as far as, a one-on-one consultation with yourself. I would love your input and your insight. However, if I can't do that, I might have to, I did want to bring up, if I wanted to have a attorney working for me full time, what does that look like? Because that's ultimately what I want to get to, is to have somebody to be able to file all this paperwork for myself, because quite honestly, it's, it goes over my head a little bit. I have a general grasp.
For me too. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah,
but
no,
it's I mean, for a full-time attorney to work for you 8 hours a day, 160 hours a month, it's about, for an 8-hour shift, it's $6. It's $6.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless you contract out one of my attorneys, where I already did the vetting process and all that for them, I charge pretty normal. I charge up the rates. I think we're $69 an hour for our own attorneys that are on staff. But we have a recruiting and staffing option. So if you want somebody full time for you for $6, that's actually how I got my start. Is I got attorneys that people still have today. We got placed over 80 attorneys for individuals, and they were just like, Paul Michael, this has changed my world. I had no idea that international recruiting and staffing could be such a benefit to me. And since then, we've done recruiting and staffing for more than just attorneys. We did it for accountants. We do it for people who do websites, social media. People bolt up their whole entire thing. I mean, if you think about it, the Big Mac McDonald's front desk workers, they're getting $2,300 a month, But for me, $2,300 a month, I got at least 11 or 12 staff.
Right.
No, what I mean? So.
Yeah. No, exactly. And that's, like I said, that's what I want to get to, is to be able to have, a full-time attorney that files all my paperwork, make sure I can, set up all my corporations, trusts, DBAs, whatever, and also to have an accountant on the back end that manages everything. So that's ultimately what I have to get to, and I need to get there as soon as possible.
Then 3 months, because in 3 months, if you do the whole academy, especially with Ryan's course, it only takes 3 months to get 200,000 without any personal liability for the business,
Right.
So you're just like, you might just wake up and you might just say, you know what? I have this dream of having my own international law firm. I'm going to spend, 100,000 to float this for the first year. And I'm going to spend another 100,000 to see if I can really put it on some marketing and stuff like that. And it may fail. It may fail, because nothing in business is guaranteed, right? But it's not personally liable to you. You just say, oh, that was a bad venture. Oh, well.
Well, for those who don't know, some of the most successful businesses and individuals in business, they've failed numerous times.
Yes.
Numerous times. They've gone bankrupt, but it's all about taking that risk and putting yourself out there, because if you don't, then you're not really ultimately going to learn. So I'm willing to do that. I mean, I'm all in. I want to do whatever it takes. So I do need to do that. In the meantime, I need to get my SPC and status correction done, so I can start going on all that. And I need to get with Ryan again. I kind of put that on hold, just due to funds, but I'm going to be reaching out to him probably actually later today, so that I can come with you with my personal credit and be able to put everything on and go for it, because we're going.
Yeah, because if you just need are you in a safe environment? Is you and your family safe? That's priority. Do you feel safe in your environment?
I do feel safe. I mean, financially, I don't have, X amount in the bank. I
Right.
mean,
Well, you don't have
but
money problems. You have credit problems.
exactly,
You don't.
exactly.
No one who comes to Creditor Academy has money problems. They have credit problems because credit. As soon as you can utilize it, I mean, you won't even you won't worry about money in your bank account. Like I don't touch the money in my bank account. I just keep swiping credit cards.
Right.
Maybe I
Yeah.
touch it a little bit.
Well, no, I mean, I feel comfortable just because, I mean, as you might know, I've shared before, I grew up Amish and I left
Right.
16 years ago. So I've been on my own and I've been able to make things work just because I kind of have that mentality that if I put in, you know, put in the work, everything's going to work out at the end of the day. But I'm kind of at that point in time now that I have kids that I need to have a better foundation beyond my belief and to be able to put it all on paper so
Right.
that if I pass away or something happens to me, they have a foundation to work on. So
Right.
that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, yeah, I'm comfortable where I'm at.
Okay.
We have
Okay.
a home and all that, but I want to take it to the next level.
Well, then let me give you some confidence. I want to call him Michael B, who's in the room right now. If Michael B, are you available right now? I don't want to catch you if you're cooking or hanging out or chilling on the back patio and you're just like, man, oh, Michael, don't call on me. But Michael B, do you have some words of encouragement for Daniel here? You are progressing quite significantly in your business credit game.
Yeah, man. Just keep on trucking along because like that stuff right there, the status correction is huge. That if you have employment, then that's going to be really big on the front end because you can immediately get cash back in your pocket because you won't have to pay your taxes once you do your status correction, and you can update your I-9 with your employer. If you're employed, then you're going, especially if you have a C corp, then you'd be drawing from your business as a non-taxable entity for your business, so you'd still save a lot for your draws. So the first thing is big with status correction because that's going to give you a lot back. The SPC is especially when you're starting to run your business and you want to be able to draw against when you're trying to run income and stuff and do some of these specialized tasks, you have something to discharge against. So it's very important when you start getting into the deeper elements of operation, some of the really important stuff, but the status corrections first. That's what sets the bar for everything. You get that, and then the trade line stuff. Most of it can be done probably in 1 or 2 days. If I'm working with Ryan right now to help narrow down the front end because he built a lot of his businesses a few years ago. So I just jumped in there and I applied for like 15 different ones, and I have a whole Excel spreadsheet that I shared with Ryan that I'm updating currently to help everyone kind of move faster through the front end of it. But that process can be very quick. If you, at least on the day one, you should set up your nav prime and nav checking day one. That stuff will at least get the ball rolling for everything because now you have a checking account. So some of the net 30 accounts require a checking account for they're not looking for income, but they want to see that you have a statement from a check from a bank. So you need a established bank account. It doesn't necessarily have to be running crazy volume or anything like that. Just something that is a bank account. And they utilize that. So getting that on day one, 30 days later, you can have a statement. So now you're ready to rock. And there's like, I don't know, like 10 more accounts you'll be able to get 30 days later if you have those two things. So it's very important to get those things knocked out on day one, just so you can get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty much you're right there. 30 to 60 days later, you can be, after those 30 days, you can get those other 10, you can have 15, 20 trade lines, running with your business fairly quickly. There are some additional costs, with getting some of those things, but some of those can be mitigated, especially if there's things that you can utilize around the house. And, it's cost of doing business. I mean, nothing in this life is just you're a business owner. You got to put in a little bit of effort on your side, but you should be able to mitigate most of those costs with the status correction and the updates with that. So you'll be getting your 25% back from whatever your income is. And that can be very quick. And even like my work back paid me. So I ended up getting like $700 on the first check paid back to me. So you just have to update the I-9 as a non-resident state national, do section 2.3. And that process can be worked out a little bit with the E-Verify and stuff. But that was a Fortune 100 company. So it's not like if they're going to do it, it's not like anyone else wouldn't, So you just have to know how to talk to them, communicate your process. Everything we do is backed by the IRS and the Congress, 16th Amendment. So there's all constitutional law that backs everything we're doing too. There's U.S. Supreme Court rulings on this kind of stuff. Everything is above board. You're doing things. You're building credit. These are all great things. I think it's good for everyone to do these things. The U-Bot is amazing. It's very easy to submit these documents. It takes a little bit to just plug and chug, but once you get it notarized. It's not super complicated if you just read down the lists of the things that Paul Michael put together. And then there's going to be some communication with Paul Michael. Sit down and have a meeting with him or one of his attorneys, however he's working that out now, and they can coordinate your next steps and your personal situational variations. But it's been great for me so far, and I'm very grateful for all the help. I'm grateful for Ryan. He reaches out, he takes time. All these people do a great thing for everything I've been learning. So been very beneficial. I'm very grateful. My credit, just an experience, went up 100 points with Ryan's help, working on the Equifax and TransUnion, but those are already submitted, so that should reverberate here soon. And yeah, I'm just excited, man. This is like an amazing thing to be going through right now.
Oh man, absolutely, brother. I'm flying out, dude. After graduation, dude, I'm flying out to come meet you and the other people that are skyrocketing with their credit right now. So yeah, that's gonna be a great business meeting. Really above board, and I'll be super excited for that because that's when the real fun happens. We get to play with our credits. We get to invest in each other's companies. We get to start new business ventures. And that's really where I would love to be. Oh, love it. Okay. Well, with that being said, thank you everybody who was watching us on YouTube today. If you have not subscribed, hit that subscribe and notification bell. We are live every Tuesday and Thursday, and we have what's called the after hours. If you would like to join our Tuesday, Thursday live classes like this one now with the amount of students that are in here, you could go to creditoracademy.com and hit the live Tuesday, Thursday. You can also, I really would implore you to join our private Facebook group and all of our other social media that is on our YouTube channel as well. And all that great stuff. Guys, your success is not only a few months away. This truth movement, if you've been doing it for years, it can be accomplished in just a few months as long as you get the basics. The basics 3 are become private, learn to operate privately, and third, learn about unlimited private credit and how to build it and use it. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye. 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 All right, we're in the after hours. Tammy, let's go to you.